Hello friends, welcome to Plant Science Forum. Before few days, I made a video on plant fossilization. After watching this video, I got some responses where different people asked me for making a video lecture on carbon dating, which is the technique for knowing the age of fossils or geological artifacts. So let's begin with carbon dating. So before understand few terminologies: neutron, isotope, radioactive decay, beta particle half-life and cosmic rays. Here this is the structure of typical atom. The central part is nucleus. Here a brown color sphere represents the proton, whereas gray color sphere represents a neutrons, and these are the revolving electrons. The weight of atom is contributed by a central part, nucleus only, where because the weight of electrons it is negligible. So you came to know about neutrons. Now isotopes. Isotopes, these are the elements which have a different mass number. Here I have shown a carbon 14 element because we are studying carbon dating. So let's take example of carbon only. Carbon occurs in environment with carbon 12, carbon 13 as a mass number. So this type of element which has the same atomic number whereas the different mass number, they are called as isotope. So these radioactive isotopes, they are not stable in nature, they are unstable. So with the passing time they loses energy in the form of radiation. This process in which unstable isotopic radioactive nucleus loses energy by radiation is called as radioactive decay, and during this process of radioactive decay the energy is lost in the form of beta particle. There are various other forms. One of the form is beta particle, and the time required to lose half of the material is called as half-life. Amount of time it takes for one half of the radioactive isotope to decay is called as half-life. Earth always receives a high energy atomic nucleus or other high energy particles from the sun radiation. These are called as cosmic rays. These are some of the important terminology which we required for understanding the carbon dating process. Now what actually is carbon dating? It is the process for estimation of age of carbon based material which is found in fossils or geological artifacts. Now while doing this process, the sample or fossil material is compared with some reference standards. Now here another technical term is given for carbon dating, which is called as conventional radiocarbon age method. This is the very important diagram for understanding what actually happens and why carbon dating is used. Sun, Earth always receives a cosmic radiation from Sun. So in that cosmic radiation there are high energy neutron also. That gaseous atmospheric concentration of Earth is 78% of nitrogen, out of which only 0.03% is carbon. When high energy neutron they are collide with nitrogen, at that time nitrogen captures a neutron and it forms a carbon 14 isotope. In the atmosphere there is always carbon 12 isotope. Now along with that there is also synthesis of carbon 14. So at any given time in the atmosphere the relative proportion of carbon 12 and carbon 14 is constant, and as we know on the earth crust there are so many producers, that is plant. Now this plant they consume the atmospheric carbon in the form of carbon dioxide, convert it into nutrients, and on them herbivores are dependent and on them carnivores are dependent. So the radioactive isotope which was formed by the cosmic radiation, this is now get trapped in the process of photosynthesis, and the proportion of carbon trapping by the photosynthesis and the trapped carbon in the various living matter is always proportional to the number which is present in atmosphere. After the dying of plant, a wooden log is present in the earth crust, or animals remain, they are present in the earth crust in the form of fossil. When they dig and start decaying, at that time there is no exchange of matter with the surrounding. That means no intake of carbon and no losing carbon. So whatever the carbon trapped by that living body during his lifetime now start decaying, particularly carbon 14. Now this carbon 14 start decaying by the process of beta decay, and it forms again a nitrogen 14, which is a normal. Now the time required for decaying half of the amount of carbon is 5730 years. This is called as half-life period, a time required to decay half of the material. For carbon 14 radioisotope, it is 5730 years. Now this was discovered by Willard Libby, who led a team of scientists, and they suggest that unstable carbon isotope it exists in living matter, and for which he was awarded Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1960. Now, what are the different materials which can be carbon dated? Along with many organic compounds, some inorganic matter can also be carbon dated, such as mollusca shells, because these shells during its lifetime receives various minerals, carbonates, which are formed because of carbon present in the atmosphere. Now, before processing any sample for carbon dating, it needs to be physically and chemically treated for removing the possible contaminants, because as we want to know the age of fossils or living matter, we need only a carbon present in the living matter, not in its surroundings. So it is necessary to remove the contaminants from the surrounding. Now how actually they do it? The process for carbon dating is gas proportional counting, liquid scintillation, accelerator mass spectroscopy. These two techniques, first two techniques, they are dependent on the capture and detection of beta particles, whereas accelerator mass spectroscopy, this technique is dependent on the number of atoms present in the sample. In this technique, accelerator mass spectroscopy, various isotopes of carbon, carbon 12, carbon 13 and carbon 14, the number of atoms they are calculated and detected, whereas in first two, decay beta carbon decay, beta particles they are calculated. Now first technique, in this, first the sample is converted into CO2 gas. This CO2 gas is placed in the cylinder. The cylinder consists of anode and a wall cathode. Now here, when a CO2 which is made up of fossil carbon isotope, it releases beta particle. That beta particle is captured and recorded in the graph, by which a complete beta decay of that sample is recorded. Now this recording, this data is compared with a reference standard. In the second process, which is called as liquid scintillation counting, in this process sample is liquid. In previous the sample was gas, now in this it is liquid sample. Now after converting the sample into a liquid form, a scintillator is added. Scintillator is a substance which produces a light. Now this scintillator, when it interacts with the beta particle, it produces a flash of light. Here we have a sample. Now this sample is embedded with a scintillator. In this sample there is a living matter which once was living. Now this matter is decaying and producing a beta particle. Now when this beta particle they interact with a scintillator, it produces a signal. Now this not signal, a flash of light. This flash of light is detected by photomultiplier tube which is present on both the side. If the flash of light is detected by only one tube, then it is not counted. Only detection by both the tube is considered. Now when this tube they detect a particular flash of light, they passes a signal and it is recorded. Now beta particle emission from the complete sample, it is recorded and again compared with the standard to know the age. The third technique is accelerator mass spectroscopy. As I said earlier, in this the carbon 14, carbon 12 and carbon 13, the number of atoms they are only calculated and measured. In this technique, a sample is converted into graphite and placed in the instrument. Now this instrument operated in two steps. One is acceleration of the various particles present in the sample with very high kinetic energy, and second is the detection of the accelerated particles with respect to their mass. Now when samples are accelerated with very high kinetic energy, they get separated with respect to their mass and detected. Now in this process, various isotopes of carbon 12, 13 and 14 they are detected and their number is counted. Now this detection account is now compared with the radioactive standard. Now continuously we are saying a standard and reference compound. What is it? It is actually oxalic acid. Now this oxalic acid was formed in 1955 in National Institute of Standards and Technology, Maryland. This acid it shows the 95% accuracy with wood which was obtained from 1890. Why this is done? As we have discussed and as we know that atmosphere contains a carbon dioxide, a proportion of carbon dioxide which is not contributed by natural activity. So it is contributed by pollutions and bombing. As we know, Second World War witnessed atomic bomb. So because of which there are so many subatomic particle and many pollutants which might have disturbed the atmospheric composition. So this wood which was obtained from 1890, this wood was remain unaffected by the fossil fuels. It doesn't shows any concentration of or distortion by the current atmospheric concentration. That's why oxalic acid which shows 95% accuracy with respect to radioactivity of carbon 14 is considered as a principal standard. Now when this oxalic acid 1 completely consumed, a second oxalic acid was made in 1977 from French wheat molasses. Other than this, in current time there are various standards for detecting a radioisotope and artifacts age. Now radioactivity of material in the background is also determined to remove its contribution, because whenever we got any fossil sample, this not only contains the living matter, it is also associated with various type of mineral ions and other artifacts which are associated with that particular fossil. Now carbon dating is not always a beneficial, it also has some drawbacks, because by the process of carbon dating we can only trace back up to 50,000 years, and because of heavy pollution and bombing the atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide has changed. So this is not what we can say, this is not a highly accurate process. Atmosphere also shows various forms of carbon compounds which can interfere with the fossils. That's why an alternative has been found, such as uranium-235, uranium-232, and thorium. If you look at their half-life period, it is far greater than a half-life period for carbon-14. So these are better alternative. If you have any query regarding this lecture, you can put your question in the comment section below. This is our YouTube channel, Plant Science Forum. Thank you.